Man United have sacked another manager. Can't remember this one's name, but I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. There's been
Oh.
so many, I get confused. There was Ten Hag last year, now he's Amorim. You know, I feel like we're always talking about Man United sacking someone. Yeah, it's another manager sacking. I mean, what do they want? Like, at some point, you've got to ask yourself, they're doing so much better than last season. You know, I get that the football might be boring, but there's just not as much talent in the team. I think Amorim's done all right, considering Fernandes is injured. I mean, there's got to be some expectations set, and yeah, Amorim's just not going to get the players, so it was probably right that he went. Who takes over now? Like, who do they want? It'll just be an
Well,
ex-United player, probably. It'll probably be an ex-United player, so that they can satisfy that. Yeah. Who's it going to be, Mark?
well, I honestly think, I think you're right with the ex-Man United player. I think Solskjaer's a shout and knows the club already, just gets them to the end of the season until they appoint someone, unless he does really well, they appoint someone in the summer. But I think it gets him, he knows most of the players that are already there anyway. But it's the thing with Man United, like all the pundits come out and they're like, no one seems to understand Man United, blah blah blah. There's only a certain way Man United needs to be playing X, Y, Z. It's like, no, because that's what, like, if it says players like Gary Neville is saying that's what happened and that's how you played 20 years ago. Football's changed. Like, a lot of the reason Amorim failed at Man United this time around because he refused to change his own tactics. But surely when you hired him, he came in the interview with a big book saying, this is how I play. Provide me with the players that I need to play this system. And he's been failed massively by the board for not giving the players he needs. He's brought in a lot of players, a lot of young players in that have done really well for him. That Drogu looks really good for him, for the future for Man United there. And he's tried to adapt his systems. And it's just the players he has already there just don't or cannot play that system because he's not been backed properly. When they spent a lot of money in the summer bringing in like 3 attacking players, but like when Bruno Fernandes goes injured, they've got no one else in the middle that's good enough to play that role. Like, he wants to play the 4-3-4-3, and he hasn't got 4, or he didn't have 4 good midfielders playing that role, or that players that could play that role. And people are moaning about how Kobe Mainoo should get more minutes. Yeah, maybe he should have done, but it's whether or not you're trying hard enough in training to prove to the manager you want to play. And clearly, in his eyes, he wasn't. So I think if they bring back an old manager, i.e. Solskjaer, then I think he might get the good feeling around the club again because like he knows it already. He's going to come in straight with positivity, and set them up how that he wants it. And I think the ball will back in that way. And you'll see in January, I think, if they did bring him in or bring in someone in that they actually want, I think it'll show how much they wanted Amorim out if they back him heavily with the players that this new guy they bring gets.
Yeah, I think when you look at Man United and Bruno Fernandes goes and gets injured, they don't have the depth to replace him. Not a lot of teams do have the depth to replace him. But that comes with time, and you need the time. Man United finished really low down the table last year. Very difficult to entice players to a club that aren't in Europe. But it's Man United, so they managed to get some in. They're 6th at the moment. They're on the European places. So you'd like to think that next year, or the transfer window in the summer, they would be able to entice more players if they can get just a European place. But obviously, Amorim made those comments in the press conference as well about not being able to fit people into his formation. And yeah, they just decided to get rid of him. I mean, it's just, if Pep Guardiola went to Manchester United and didn't play the Manchester United way, in inverted commas, but he found them success in his way, nobody's going, I want Pep Guardiola out because he's not playing the way that we
No.
want Man United to play. Because
They provide Pep with what he wants.
Yeah. And it's the same with Jose Mourinho, right? Jose Mourinho wasn't the manager for Manchester United. Everyone was going, but he doesn't play anything like Man United. But he got them second in the Premier League. He won a European trophy with them. Like, he was winning stuff. I know other managers have done that as well, but it's...
So I was going to say, didn't they sack him just before the FA Cup final as well?
Yeah.
Which he probably would have won that.
I mean, at some point you've got to... Yeah, I mean, it's just been spoken about before, but it's just odd. It's just odd. They'll move on from it.
Was this whole... Because say this whole Manchester United thing when they're saying there's got to be the DNA of Man United is just a load of rubbish. You need to, like, if you want the DNA of Man United, you need to get back Ferguson, who's going to be tough on the players, which there is no manager that's like that now. You probably say that's a world-class manager that seems to be as tough as Alex Ferguson on these players. And he was able to bring through youth players back then because back then the youth players were on par with the professionals in the late 80s, 90s. Nowadays, the youth players are, if any team, are quite a bit off of the professionals in the Premier League. You get one or two real bright sparks, but then they still only get 15-minute cameos until they can finally push in and show in pre-season or on loan somewhere they can actually do it. With Man United, they haven't got the players in their academy at the moment that could say they can warrant, to become the DNA and play all the youth players, play exciting football with youth players. It doesn't work like that at a club like Man United. If you want that to happen, you play them, you go down Championship, and you carry on playing them. That's the only way that would happen.
I just look back at the managers that they've had success with, and they are experienced managers. Jose Mourinho, Van Gaal.
Yeah.
David
Moyes.
I think you could. I know there's a caveat to that with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Sorry, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah.
But I mean, sacking Ten Hag for Ruben Amorim when he didn't have any of the players yet was just insane. I mean, who made that decision? That is utterly insane.
There's people that don't watch football, isn't it? Like it's the most of the board of the owners now are Americans or from foreign countries where they just don't get football. They want quick results here and there.
Yeah, I think,
and that's it.
I mean, I'm off the top of my head, get Carlo Ancelotti in, give him some money.
He's at Brazil. He's just signed new contracts for Brazil.
So just get him in.
It's a World Cup going up. He just literally signed a new contract for Brazil, so that ain't gonna happen. No.
After the World Cup.
I think I honestly think they'll get Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in, and rumours of Michael Carrick being brought in to help him out would be good for the future.
They'll get Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. He'll steady the ship. They'll go, we're going to carry on with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. By December 2026, he'll get sacked. Michael Carrick will take over.
Ole's at the wheel, give him everything he wants. That's what.
Michael Carrick will end up taking over. Michael Carrick will then get sacked. Then they'll want Wayne Rooney. And before we know it, we'll be in 2027.
Oh my God. Wayne Rooney, Jesus Christ. The guy that's like great player but has never taken it into management.
If you like this, please like, comment and subscribe for more content from Off to the Footy.